how'd you get the offer from AEW?
It's funny because I've seen like a lot of misconception about this, and I've talked openly about.
Would you guys try and get each other booked?
Absolutely. Chelsea's one of the biggest reasons I got to go to Japan. When I saw wrestling for the first time, I was like, oh, Trish Stratus. I think still to this day, like she's an icon.
Oh, look at the strength of Purrazzo.
Look out.
Oh! Hung up on the turnbuckle again. Repeated gut shots.
Deonna stops her in her tracks there. Big knee. Puts her in. Beautiful suplex.
Virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo.
The amount of pressure to go from Chris Van Vliet to me, I don't know how I'm going to follow up from that because he's an encyclopedia of knowledge. How was that?
It was amazing, but there's no pressure whatsoever.
There's so much pressure.
No, there's not.
He knows everything. How do you go from cheerleading to professional wrestling?
I actually think it was a really easy transition.
Like most cheerleaders.
Yeah. I think that, well, I always wanted to be a wrestler. Like, I was a cheerleader because I wanted to play football, and my parents said, like, at the time, girls don't play football, but you could do the next best thing. And so I was always an athlete, and I think that a lot of what I did in cheerleading and, like, working as a team to, like, you know, you have 28 people on a team, you got to look like one person, right? Like, everyone moves together. So much of the same mechanics apply to wrestling. It was a really easy transition.
Would you do a lot of physical sports outside of cheerleading, or was it really just solely focused on that?
Yeah, I was just a cheerleader, and because of cheerleading, we had to do gymnastics, so that's why I did gymnastics as well. A couple seasons, I, like, ran track in high school, but I was a cheerleader through and through.
You also have a twin brother.
Yes.
Growing up, did you guys wrestle?
Oh, we beat the crap out of each other. Yeah. And when our parents would leave, we had our basement downstairs had like a separate living room. We would like get out old boxes and like set them up like tables and slam each other through them. Yeah.
Do you think that's where it all started?
Yeah. Yeah. Like when I saw wrestling for the first time, I was like, oh, what is that? Like, it just blew my mind that, you know, people would do that to each other. And then I saw the women do it, and I was like, I think I was 9, but my mom would tell you I was 7, where I was like, I'm going to be a wrestler. And so I think that, like, everything else I did for my whole life, I'm 30 now, like, has only been like, I'm a wrestler. Like, everything was about wrestling.
Do you recall who the first wrestler was that you attached yourself to, that you just fell in love with?
In terms of the women, it was Trish Stratus. I think still to this day, like, she's an icon, and like, you loved to love her when you were supposed to love her, and you hated her when you were supposed to hate her. But the first time I recall ever seeing wrestling was Stone Cold Steve Austin hit someone over the head with a chair, and I was like, oh, like, what is happening here? And like, who does that to somebody? And like, how do you let someone do that to you? Like, I just had no idea what this world was, and then I needed to watch every single week.
Do you think that your friends growing up think this all makes sense of what you do now?
Yes and no. Like, I think it's so much of my identity throughout my whole life that it makes sense. Like, I never wanted to do anything else. I was never going to do anything else. I was going to be a professional wrestler. But I think if you know me in real life, like, to be the center of attention is like the vein of my existence. Like we were just talking off camera about getting married and stuff. Like, my wedding day, walking down the aisle was so uncomfortable for me because everyone was looking at me, and like my husband laughs because he's like, how do you go out there and you are like such this like presence, like the Virtuosa is so like eyes on me and I want all your attention, and then Deonna in real life is like, I don't want to talk to anybody, I get social anxiety, I don't want to go in the house and talk, like, don't look at me.
Do you turn a switch on when you're going out on live TV?
I think so. I think like out there it's just do or die, and like the character I embody deserves all those things. I deserve all of your attention. But yeah, Deonna is like, I want to crawl in my bed and read a book with my dog.
So do you almost like disassociate yourself from the character to do that? Because that's really nerve-wracking, because I get so much social anxiety being in front of people.
Yes, and like I think the Virtuosa has so many real elements of Deonna. Like, Deonna is a history buff. Deonna loves to watch documentaries and like read like fiction or nonfiction books about real life things that I can then research. Like, and the Virtuosa has so many of those characteristics that I've like built her around. So I don't necessarily disassociate, but I think at home, because wrestling takes so much energy, and there's so, like, you have to be on 24/7. You're in front of people, you're in front of cameras, like, you're talking, you're really making an impression every time you're out there. you need to give 100% of yourself, that at home I don't want to give any of myself. I just want to exist.
Do you remember the first time you're going out on stage to perform, what that felt like?
I was terrified because also...
Did you want to back out?
Not back out, but the first thing I did was I had to cut a promo in the ring, and I was deathly afraid of public speaking. Like, I could not speak and look someone in the eye and, like, talk in front of a classroom of people. Like, it was just, again, like, the vein of my existence. I couldn't, and I was so scared, and I would shake really bad. And so to go and do that, I was, like, maybe I was just 19 years old. Maybe I was still 18 the first time I had to do it. Like, I cried for days. Like, you want me to get up there with a microphone and talk?
But no one forced you to do this.
They didn't, no one forced me to do it.
You did it on your own.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Where do you even find where to sign up?
So for the longest as a kid, like, there was a wrestling school that would take students at 16, and I would beg my parents, like, please let me sign up. Like, then when I get a car, I could take myself, and I could get a job, and I'll pay for it. And they were like, no. But I turned 18, graduated high school, and I was going to a community college in New Jersey.
Which one?
CCM. County College of Morris.
I went to Brookdale.
Oh, yeah. It's probably same vibe, right? Yeah. I drove like the opposite way I would normally go, and I saw a VFW hall that had a big poster on the front of it that said, like, live pro wrestling the first Friday of every month. And I was like, well, I've never even been to an indie show. Like, I went to WWE, like, my parents would, like, take me wherever for that. Like, my mom would drive me to Massachusetts for a WWE show if it was close. Like, I had never been to an indie show, so maybe I'll just go as a fan and, like, see what indie wrestling is about. I don't know what that is. And then when I Googled it, there was a wrestling school, and I was like, I'm signing up for wrestling school.
As part of that VFW?
Yeah.
Or?
So the VFW ran the shows that the wrestling school that was just down the street would, like, they would host back and forth. You know what I mean?
What were your first bumps like?
I was terrified to take a bump. Like, I remember when the guy showed me, the trainer showed me how to take flat back, and I was like, is there something else I could learn?
Maybe my character doesn't take flatbacks.
Yeah, she doesn't take bumps.
She doesn't take bumps. She, like, kind of just wins.
Yeah, I could, like, you know, I don't even know what you do. I could do wrist locks. Like, the first time I took a bump, I was like, oh, that didn't feel good. And then it becomes muscle memory. But I just remember going home after that practice and then being like, we have practice on Saturday, come by, blah, blah, blah. And me being like, yeah, no problem. And then I didn't get out of bed for like 3 days. I was so sore.
Were you in love with it?
I don't know yet. Like, I don't remember being like, that was amazing. But I just remember being like, I did it. I did the first day.
How many other female wrestlers were there in school?
None. It was just me.
So you trained with the boys?
Yeah. Luckily at that time there was only like 1 or 2 other boys. Like it was very, like, it was a small school. And also just like that was in Wharton, New Jersey. Like there was very few of us who liked wrestling, you know, let alone wanted to be a wrestler. So it was like I got a lot of one-on-one attention going to that school.
I loved it growing up, but it never even crossed my mind to do it because I didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
So the fact that you figured that out is so crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, like, thank God for Google, because I would just be like, how old do you have to be to go to wrestling school? Where's the wrestling school? I had this grand plan that I was going to go be a cheerleader at the University of Kentucky, where they have like a multi-time national champion co-ed team. I was going to go be on the co-ed cheer team, become a national champion, and train at OVW with Rip Rogers. Like, I was going to do both.
How do you transition to your first match in front of a crowd?
Luckily, the girl who I wrestled had known my trainer for a very long time.
Who was your trainer?
Damian Adams.
Okay.
And he was like, she's good, she'll take care of you, she's comfortable. And we got to like practice for like a week beforehand. But yeah, I cried. Like, I was so scared because I think at that point, that was like when I was like, I love this and I want to be good at this and I think I could be good at this. But like, if this goes bad, and then maybe that's the end. Like, if I'm bad, then I'm bad.
What kind of support system did you have?
Luckily, my mom was like, if that's what you want to do, like, I don't get it, I don't understand it, but like, if that's what you want to give your time to, then go for it. My dad, though, did not understand wrestling until very recently. Like, now he came to my AEW debut and he's like, I think I'm a wrestling fan. And I was like, no, it took you 12 years, Dad.
Was he on your side at least?
He was just kind of like, I don't get it, but like, do you, kid?
Was
he
rooting for you, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many people were in your first crowd when you performed?
Oh, gosh, like maybe maybe 30.
And were you playing it up for everybody?
Honestly, I was like the good guy. I was a baby face. And like, yes, to the extent, but I was still this like shy, nervous, like, I don't know how to be in front of a group of people girl. So like, and even now, if you watch me wrestle now, like I tell everyone I'm not a good baby face because I'm not a very like, yeah, cheer for me. I don't have that energy. So I even back then felt like this is very out of place. Can I just be the bad guy?
Do you have a favorite moment in AEW so far?
I think it's my debut, for sure. I think that, like, being in Jersey, my dad and my stepmom were there, my in-laws were there. Like,
was that planned to do it in Jersey?
So, yes and no. I had, when I knew I was going to sign, spoke to Tony Khan and was like, just so you know, the first Dynamite is in New Jersey of the new year. And he was like, oh, that'd be cool. Like, and I was like, just putting it out there. That's like a dream come true scenario for me. I didn't know until like Tuesday night when they called me like, hey, could you come to Newark, New Jersey tomorrow? And I was like, I've been waiting for this phone call my whole life. Yes, that it was going to happen. So yes, it was. I wanted it to be planned that way, but they didn't plan it that way until last minute.
Were you expecting a last minute call, or did you kind of give up?
I gave up. I was sad. I was like, I don't think this is going to happen. Like, and like, I'm signed, so that's great. And like, I need to like, just let it go. Cause if it doesn't happen my way, it's fine. And it's not meant to be, but I was bummed.
How'd you get the offer from AEW?
It's funny because I've seen like a lot of misconception about this. And I've talked openly about talking to AEW while I was ending my Impact contract. And I got permission from Scott D'Amore like 90 days out. So the beginning of October, I was like, hey, you know, you have not spoke to me about renewing my contract. Is it okay? Or like what? I don't know. Like, I don't know anything about contract tampering. I don't want to contract tamper. I don't want to do anything the wrong way. I respect you. I respect this company so much. Like, tell me the right way to go about this. You have not spoke to me about re-signing me. Is it okay for me to go try to talk to AEW or WWE? And he was like, absolutely. And he was like, I think that, like, you're not talking about doing things now. You're not talking about starting between October and January 1st. You're talking about starting January 1st when you would technically be free. So go talk to whoever you want to talk to. So I was able to connect with Tony Khan and get on a Zoom call and kind of talk ideas and what I was looking for and what he was looking for early December.
Were you upset that he didn't try to grab you at that time when you asked that?
Yes. Yes and no. So earlier, my contract at Impact was originally 2 years, and it had a third-year option. That was their option. So at the end of that 2-year mark, I had said, like, I don't know if this place is for me. Maybe I want to explore other things. Like, I know it's your choice, but respectfully, could you not take that third-year option? And at first, they were like, you could go talk and explore and whatever, but, like, we'll let you know. And then they picked up the third-year option, which, honestly, I'm very thankful for. I think it all worked out the way it should have. And I wasn't upset by that. But when it came to renewing my contract and getting a completely new one, yeah, I was bummed because I just felt like I gave so much heart and soul and 100% of me to this company to be, you know, I was Miss Impact Wrestling for 3.5 years. So, like, why wouldn't you want to keep me? And it wasn't until last minute, right before the end of November, that they were like, no, we do want to keep you. And I was kind of already like, but now I don't think I want to stay. Like, it was just a very weird, I felt like, why wouldn't you want to keep me? But also, do you not want to keep me because you thought I wanted to leave? Like, it was a weird communication, honestly. But yeah, I was upset.
Looking back on your time in Impact, was there something that sticks out to you that you just had was the best moment for you?
I immediately wanted to say winning the Knockouts World Championship for the first time at Slammiversary 2020. Because I think that leaving NXT, I made such a stink about how I thought I wasn't used properly and I had more to offer the NXT women's division at the time and how negatively that affected me. So going into Impact and like immediately winning the Knockouts World Championship, I felt like that was like do or die for me. I had to deliver, and I was also like proving the chip on my shoulder to be right. Like, watch me now. So that I feel like is the biggest moment. But then I also was going to say winning the tag team championships with Chelsea Green was also such a, in that same vein of like, this is validation for us moment where like it meant so much than just like winning a championship. It was like personal.
What's your relationship with Chelsea Green now?
That's my best friend. And I don't have a sister. I only have my brother. Chelsea has a sister. But, like, I don't know what it's like to have a sister. And I always tell everybody, like, that's what I think it would be like to have a sister, is my relationship with Chelsea.
Phenomenal outfit gear from both of you. How do you plan your outfit gear?
In a lot of similar ways that she does. Like, I'm more than happy to wear gear more than once. I know she's a stickler for, like, it's one time only. But she also is teeny tiny and has the tiniest gear in the world. So it's easy to turn out. Like, she has a great lady that will just, like, send her 5. Like, I have this cool fabric. Here's, like, 5 different sets of gear. And it doesn't take a lot of time. My gear is very intricate with my pants and all the detail to it. So it takes a lot longer. I like to get a vision in my head, though, of, like, one of my favorite gears that I wore for Slammiversary 2023. I wrestled Trinity, and it was the feathers and the feather skirt, and I was just like, what's different? Like, could I do a skirt? Is Chelsea okay with me doing a skirt? Because that's her thing. And, like, what about feathers? Like, I've not done feathers yet. And so I get, like, a very clear vision in my head of, like, this is how I want to look. And then I'm a big Etsy girl. Like, what can I find to make this happen? So it's more of a process for me than just, like, any old fabric will do.
I heard Maven say recently that he would switch ring gear because then for video games, and if they make a video game action figure character, they have to change the attire. Mm-hmm. Is that something that is real?
I think so. I've not been in a position, like, I've not been in a video game yet or anything, and I don't yet have an action figure. So, but I do know that, like, in WWE or AEW does have action figures. They just don't turn out as fast. But yeah, I think people do it for that reason. I just like to have new gear. Like, I just think, like, every big moment or every big pay-per-view, I want to look different, and I want it to be, like, a moment for me. And I think it's caught on in terms of, like, ooh, what will Deonna wear for the pay-per-view?
Do you save it all?
Now I do, because a lot of my early stuff I sold or like gave away. Like, I just didn't keep, like, the gear that I debuted on Raw in. I wrestled Asuka in, like, blue gear, and I sold it when I left WWE. I don't have it, and now I regret it. So now I'm, like, a hoarder of, like, I need to keep everything.
What was the time like for you on that debut?
Literally just as chaotic, I think. Like, Chelsea and I were actually both at Raw that day, and we got a text maybe, like, Saturday night, like, you're booked for Monday Night Raw. Please confirm you got this text message.
Is that normally how it works?
I mean, I don't know. That was the only time it ever happened to me. I would imagine so. Or, like, they have an app that you'd get a notification in, so I would imagine, yes. I feel like when people are debuting though, like, you're told. Like, at least when I was there, like, they would, like, sit you in a room and, like, have a camera on you and be told, like, you're getting called up, and it'd be, like, a huge thing. Or they do the draft and you watch them get called up. Like, yeah, I just got a text message and was like, did you mean to send this to me? Like, is this really happening? Am I getting called up to be fired? Is what I thought. Like, I'm going to go to Raw and they're going to fire me. So Chelsea and I go. I think we were in Des Moines, Iowa, and we both kept being like, just pretend like this isn't happening so we don't get disappointed if nothing happens. Like, we have no idea why we're there. And literally last minute, it was a double taping because it was right before Christmas. She was wrestling Charlotte Flair and I was wrestling Asuka, and we were told, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 p.m. that day. So it was just, like, as last minute as that's like a theme of my career. But yeah.
Did you watch it on TV?
Yes.
How do you think you did?
I was just happy because anytime I had wrestled on NXT or even, like, before I got signed to WWE, like, I was always, like, the enhancement girl. You know what I mean? Like, I'm there to make whoever look good. It's not a long match. It's not about me. So I thought what was so unique about that was, like, Asuka and I got, you know, like, 8 or 9 minutes of wrestling time. And I was like, it was a competitive match. Like, we got to see who the Virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo was in that match. I got a full entrance with my music that was made specifically for me.
Did you have a say in that?
Yeah. I got to help develop my own music, which was really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I just felt like we were actually getting the full package for once. And it was not just to, like, make her look good or you're going to lose in 4 minutes to her. It was like, show us what you can do, kid.
Did all of the training and matches prior build up to that moment where you felt like it paid off?
Yes, I felt so much validation standing there, like right before I went through the Korean. And there was, one of the office guys who had known me from being 18 years old and being an extra in a Rosebud in WWE. Like
In a what?
I was a Rosebud.
What's
so
that?
there was this guy, Adam Rose, who I guess his character was like, he was like a party guy, and he had just like a group of people with him that would like party behind him as he walked down to the ramp. And I was like, and we were always dressed up in like weird, crazy outfits. And so I used to wear like a magician's cape and a top hat with it. But
Did you just show up in whatever you wanted to wear?
Yeah. Oh, yes. And then like in the early days, yes. And then they had like a case of stuff that you could pick from if you didn't have anything. But I was like, I'm going to make the most of this. I'm on TV like at least once a month doing this. I want people to know it's me. So I'm going to keep wearing the same outfit. And so that's how like the magician thing happened. But I had been there. I had done that. I couldn't even count, maybe 50 times. Like I was at the Royal Rumble doing that. I was at SmackDown and Raw all over the East Coast playing this Rosebud character. It's just like an extra. And so I got to know a lot of people backstage. And a lot of those same people were in, the little gorilla office that they make before you make your way through the entrance. And it was so validating to be standing there like, yeah, mother effers, like, look at me. And like, you can't take this away from me. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to kill it. And I'm going to like change your opinions about me. You all think like, I'm not ready for TV. I'm not this, I'm not that. And watch me be that.
Did you ever travel with Chelsea in the Indies?
All the time.
What was that like?
So fun. I just think...
Were you guys travel buddies?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And not even on purpose. Like, we wouldn't even plan specifically to, like, be together. But it was always, like, if I have to share a room, even still to this day, if I have to share a room with someone that's not my husband, it's Chelsea Green or Madison Rain. Like, those are the only people I want to, like, share my extra space and time with. Because we just, like, get each other. Like, and Chelsea and I actually, like, are complete opposites in terms of, like, I go to bed super late at night. Like, at 4 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah,
I'm still
she's
awake.
pretty early.
She's asleep by, like, 9 p.m. And, like, so she gets up at 9 a.m. I'm, like, I want to get up at noon kind of person. So we're actually complete opposites, but she makes me better in that way of, like, okay, we can eat better. We can definitely go to the gym. Like, she just keeps me in my routine of, like, what my life should really be like and not the way I treat my life. But it's fun because we would travel, like, her dad has a place in Palm Desert, so it would be like, let's go for the weekend in Palm Desert and hang out with her dad. Or, she's come to Jersey and, like, she broke her collarbone years and years ago, and she was looking to train to get back in ring shape. And she's like, can I come live with you? She lived with me for, like, 3 or 4 weeks. Like, we just have always got each other and been able to, like her family's become my family and vice versa.
Is it hard to maintain a healthy balance when you're traveling for the Indies?
Yes, but I don't think I did that. There was like one stretch, Chelsea and I were just talking about it actually, where it must have been like early 2017 maybe, and I went to England for New Year's.
For fun?
Yeah. And then went from there to Japan for Wrestle Kingdom just for fun. Flew back to England, did like 2 or 3 indies, flew to the States, was home for like 1 day, flew to Texas for an indie show, flew to Chicago for an indie show, flew home for like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, flew out Thursday, was gone for indie shows in Ring of Honor like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like there was a whole stretch of like a month that I spent like 4 days at home.
How do you possibly...
I don't know how. I don't even know how I like kept that schedule right. But I just think it was like, when you're in the thick of it and you're just like, this is what I'm doing and this is going to make a difference. And like, this is what I have to do. This is what I dreamt about doing, because being an 18-year-old kid, like being like, I want to be an indie star and I need to make a name for myself. Like I didn't have all the resources to be that busy. So then when I got to be that busy, like, did it suck? Yeah. But it's like, this is what I wanted. So we all had to remind ourselves of that.
When I get invited to events, I make sure to go say hi to the people who invited me. I try and mingle and I try and make the most out of it. How did you make the most out of all of these events that you would go to get booked again and be more connections?
I think it was just having really great matches and also making connections with people like Chelsea, with people like, Britt Baker, with people like Madison Rain. If you can get this like little group of girls that you traveled with, or even like people who trained with me, Karen Q, who's now Wendy 2 in NXT, Tasha Steeles, who's at Impact, like all of these girls were my like tight knit circle then, who it was like, if we could wrestle each other, we know we can have killer matches, and that will make more people want to book us. If we could be easy and say we'll share a hotel room together, we're saving the money, so they'll give us a little bit more money, or maybe book us again. Like, we tried to, like, I don't want to say manipulate, but like manipulate the system in terms of like, these are people I trust with, you know, my personal life, but then also trust in the ring. So how can we capitalize on this as a unit?
Would you guys try and get each other booked?
Absolutely. Yeah. Chelsea's one of the biggest reasons I got to go to Japan. She went first. And I was like, that looked cool. Like, how'd you like it? Blah, 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 blah. And I want to go one day. And she was like, well, here's the guy's number. And there was a ton of indies. Like, Britt Baker was going to school in Pittsburgh that I would be like, if you can drive out to Jersey, we can do this show, and this show. And we'll wrestle each other on all of them. So she'd come out and... or like Karen, who lived in New York, would come to Jersey and train with us. And it was like, okay, I'm booked in Boston, so come with me and you'll get a match. And then we'll like get a hotel and then we'll sleep and do this 2 shows in Connecticut. And yeah, it was like, let's again, trust each other. And those are the people I can have my best matches with.
I'm sure you had great chemistry with everyone, but is there one of those girls in that circle that you think you had the best chemistry with?
I would say Karen. I think, like, yeah, she's one of my best friends now. But I think because she was trained before she came and trained with me. But I think, like, I really helped, like, push her forward. So she trusted me a lot of, like, what my opinions were and whatever. So it was also someone that, because we trained together, it was like, well, we do this all the time. We could do this with our eyes closed. And if something got messed up or like, time got cut or something, it was, like, no stress and no pressure. We could just go out there and do it.
You brought up Japan.
Yeah.
How much time did you do in Japan working there?
The first time I went for 3 months, 3.5 months. And then the second time I went for like 3 weeks.
How do you wrestle someone who doesn't speak your language?
It's very difficult. I think some things in wrestling are just kind of like universal, you know, or like you learn, like in America, we call it a suplex, but there, if you say suplex, that means arm drag. So like you kind of have to like make those connections of like, oh, when I say this, they think this. And but they would do a thing there called speak, and we would go to the training facility like 2 or 3 days before the match and like speak about the match and walk through things and like just because
with your opponent.
Yes, because you can't speak how we're speaking. It was a lot of like get in the ring and like maneuver around and like body language instead. But surprisingly, there is quite a few girls who like spoke enough English, like Io Sky when she was there, spoke enough English that you could have a conversation with.
If you could, would you go back and work there again?
Absolutely. I don't know that I could stay for 3 months. I don't even know if I could stay for 3 weeks, just because now I have my husband and my dogs, and I think at that time it was just like I was like a little gypsy, like a little free bird. Like wherever you need me, that's where I'll be. Now I don't think I could spend 3 weeks away from my family. I think that would be like I would die, I think. Like, it would be really, really hard for me to do that. But I would love to go back to Stardom and do, like maybe, like, a little 2-week tour or something.
What's the major difference of performing in front of an American crowd versus a Japanese crowd?
A Japanese crowd doesn't make a lot of noise.
Like, at all?
More than I expected when I went. Because, you know, growing up, like, reading and listening to, like, old school guys talk about their experiences in Japan, like, it would always be like, oh, they just, like, clap. They don't make any noise. They sit on their hands because they're watching and they're being respectful. It wasn't quite like that when I went. Like, they still made, like, oh, and, like, you know, popped and whatever. But it's just, I never experienced, like, chanting like they do in America. Like, here you get the holy shit chants, you get the, this is awesome, or the women's wrestling chants, and there you just get like polite claps and like if you do a big move, like oh, so that was really hard because you can't really like gauge how the match is going.
So when you get back after your match, how do you figure out if you did a good job or not?
Through like Twitter. X, whatever it's called.
Is that normally how it works? You check the feedback from there?
Yeah, I try not to watch a lot of my stuff now because I'm very overcritical of myself, and like I'm my own worst enemy in terms of like if it felt good out there, I just need to trust that, because if I watch it, I'm going to tear it apart, and then I'm going to be like, now I hate it.
Do you think you need to be critical though of your performances?
I think to a degree, but I think I go overboard. Like, I'm the type of person that will like lay in bed for 3 weeks after the match and be thinking about it. Like, and that's not healthy, and I know that. So I just try like now, particularly this year, more than ever, to just be like, I saw what I saw on Twitter. The clips looked fine. Maybe 1 or 2 things I see I don't like, and how can I tweak that? But I can't be overcritical of myself.
When you were in Japan, was WWE the next logical move for you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was like the last piece that was missing for me in terms of like, what else can I do to get my name out there that would make WWE want me?
And then how'd that all come about?
Yeah, so I went the first time 2017 to Japan. I did.
Are yours pretty blurred for you? Because I feel like with
Yes.
all your traveling and matches overseas, across the country.
Yeah, well, I was thinking like I was coming back from somewhere, and I don't remember where. But the first time I went to Japan was in 2017. Something happened I signed my Ring of Honor contract January of 2018. And
Do they just send you that in a DocuSign?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I had an option in that contract to opt out at 6 months. So it was 1 year. I could leave after 6 months if I gave enough notice. And I put that in there just because I was kind of like, the division was new and they were just signing girls. And like, I had been a part of Ring of Honor for a long time, but like, I didn't know if this was somewhere I wanted to commit an entire year exclusively to yet. So let me try for 6 months. And if I'm happy, then I'll stay for the next 6 months. If not, I can get the hell out.
Did you say you negotiated that yourself?
Yeah.
No manager.
Nope, just me.
That's rare.
I think I was so young, I didn't even know what a manager was. I was just kind of like, the person I was dating at the time had that in his contract. And when he said he had it and he thought it was really important for me, I was like, oh, well, I'll just ask and see what they say. Like,
Did you negotiate your own salary too?
no, for there, it was like this is it. And there, I tried to be like, there was no wiggle room. But I think I was confident, at least there, in terms of like, I know what I've done for this place. I've developed this entire division. Like, and I want to be here and I want it to grow, but like, I need you to give me X, Y, and Z, and the worst they could say is no. I wouldn't say I was always that confident, but there I was just kind of like, I know who I am. So yeah, I just asked, and they were like, they kind of knew why I was asking and who clued me into that, but they gave it to me. And so I signed that contract the beginning of 2018, and then I had another tour of Japan planned for like end of summer.
When you're touring Japan, is it all around the country?
Yes. But when I went, I didn't expect like to wrestle as little as we wrestled. It's funny because Anna Jay just went over to Stardom, and I feel like they wrestled a ton. And the schedules changed because when I was there, it was like we wrestled once or twice on the weekends, like, and we kind of had our weeks free. So it was a lot of free time to like explore the country, which was great, but like also a lot of free time to be like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know, like what else is there for me to do? I could train, I could go to the gym, but like, how much can you do? You know? So I feel like they wrestle more now than they did then, but we traveled. Like, I've been to Osaka and a couple of different places.
To WWE?
Yes. So I signed that contract. I had another tour of Stardom planned, but April of that year, 2018, I did, like, a show, WrestleMania weekend, a Shimmer show, and, like, the talent scout for WWE was there. And I literally had my match and got back and had an email from him, like, hey, I would love to talk after the show, like, and I was kind of like, okay. I had dealt with him before, like, good. You know what I mean? I want to tell him I'm signed to Ring of Honor. Like, sorry, you can't have me now. And so basically, he had put it to me, like, we'd like to sign you. We have this Mae Young Classic thing coming up. Like, we've really seen you go out there and make a name for yourself. So I think Japan really did help, like, open their eyes of, like, oh, she can work a different style. She can do this. She could do that. Like, I took their advice to heart. And I used that 6-month out option to be able to go to WWE.
How is the Japanese style different from the American style?
They do some things on the opposite side. So we do everything on the left side. Some things are on the right side. So I kind of had to learn, like, some people there would prefer to take, like, right arm drags instead of left arm drags. And again, just like those few little names of moves mean different things and things, but I felt like it wasn't too hard. It was like, because we did that speak and because we could, like, plan ahead and just kind of, like, memorize what we're doing, it made it a little bit easier.
Who are some of the technical wrestlers that you look up to now?
I mean, they're still the same, like Dean Malenko. I mean, it's real fun to, like, he works at AEW, so, like...
Do you train with him?
No, but, like, finally I've found the confidence to, like, ask him some questions. It took me a while. I mean, I feel like everyone draws inspiration from Zack Sabre Jr. now. You know, back in the day, like Chris Jericho was one of my favorites. Eddie Guerrero was one of my favorites. So yeah, like I feel like a lot of the same people I watched then are people that I go back to and watch now.
Who would you pick when you were playing the video games?
Ooh, I would always pick John Cena or Randy Orton.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like those were my favorite wrestlers.
I was always Kane and The Undertaker.
Yeah?
I needed the height. Rank your top 3 worst moves to receive in terms of pain?
Body slam. Number 1, 2, and 3. No, body slam's up there for me. Like, I just don't like it. I think it's like the worst bump to take. Spine buster. I just like my neck doesn't have the strength. Like my neck always slams back and it hurts. I hate it. And like a fall away slam is coming to mind of just like it's uncomfortable.
Do you train your neck?
Yes, like but not in the way like wrestlers are taught to. So I have scoliosis. So my neck has like a slight curve to it, and I just from childhood have like bulging discs and stuff like that. I just had to work through my whole life.
Those Jersey schools textbooks.
Carrying on my back. Yes. So I just have to like be aware of those potential injuries. So like a lot of people like to do like neck bridges and stuff like that. Like that doesn't feel good for me. Or a couple training schools that I've been to like want you to like hang your neck over the edge of the ring and like pick it up, and like that is very uncomfortable for me. So for me, it's more of like I do a lot of chiropractic work. I do a lot of range of motion stuff with him, and that helps manage my scoliosis and potential injuries way more than like traditional neck strengthening things for wrestling.
Because there's so much room for error.
Yeah, and I mean that's like knock on wood. I'm so blessed that like the scoliosis hasn't ever played an issue into my wrestling, but there's so much room for error in wrestling as a whole. So, you know, like it can be very scary.
Who do you wrestle where it feels like you guys are dancing?
I want to say Jordan Grace, but it would be like a very violent dance. I think we've wrestled so much, especially when I was in TNA. It impacted the time for me. And we just like know each other. Like, this is your moveset and this is mine. And like, how can we change it every time? She hits hard and is so aggressive, and like I like that because it brings out like a different animal inside of me where I'm like, oh, this is real. Yeah, like I like that. Beat me up. It's cool. Like, and it looks good. But even when things go wrong with her, it's like we can just get right back on the same page. A match comes to mind. We wrestled at Victory Road last year in White Plains, New York, and the whole structure of the match was like I had beaten her every time we had a singles match. I was like 5-0, 4-0 against her. And this was like, she had come back. She took some time off, come back. Like now was her time. Like, can you finally beat her or not? You know? And she went up for a muscle buster from the top rope, and I like wiggled behind. And instead of landing on my feet, I like kind of fell on my butt. But I just like popped back up, and she was where I needed to be. And we did a head scissors into the armbar. And it was like, even though it was sloppy and it was like a mistake, it was so beautiful. And so like that's the person who comes to mind, but it's not like a nice dance. It's like it's a very violent ballet.
Do you think AEW needs a women's tag team championship?
I go back and forth on this all of the time.
Why?
I don't love women's tag team wrestling. It's just not something like I have a great grasp on. Like and I think that is for a lot of women. Like I don't necessarily think we are trained to have incredible women's tag team wrestling matches. However, on the flip side of that, like if we got more experience with a particular tag team partner, like this is where I say no, because I think that you need chemistry with a partner. I think it's really important to develop a relationship with somebody and tell the audience why you're in a tag team. You know what I mean? Like when Chelsea and I became a tag team, it was like, well, we're best friends in real life. We travel together. We train together. We have family dinners together. We celebrate holidays together. Like here is picture evidence of all that, video evidence of our relationship. If you were just thrown into a tag team, me and you are now going to be a tag team, like, and that's what happens with a lot of women's wrestling. Like, we're just going to pick 4 random people and you're going to have a tag team match. There's no substance to it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. There's no reason you and I should work together. And I feel like women don't get the time to tell those stories and develop those relationships. So that's why I say no. On the flip side, I think it creates so many opportunities for women, a completely new division for women. And particularly in AEW, there's so many women right now. And so if you paired them up, like we've seen not anymore, but like Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander were together for a long time. We understood why they liked each other. We saw Sky Blue and Julia Hart become a tag team. We understood why they were together. If we could do that with any of the girls that aren't going to be in a world championship title picture and create a women's tag team title division, I think it would create amazing opportunities for us. But I'd only say yes if we're getting the opportunity to create meaningful tag teams.
Is there anyone you want to be partnered with?
Yeah, I mean, I think the obvious answer is Britt Baker. That's like, you know, one of my other good friends in real life. And like, again, I've talked about her a bunch already, like someone I trained and traveled with and like, came up together with. So I think that is the most logical answer for me. I think also too, on the flip side of that, like if Madison Rain ever wanted to be a competitor again, right now she's just a women's coach and we've seen her do some pre-show analysis and things like that. I think her coming back and you know, that's my best friend in real life. She's a real reason I got a lot of jobs in wrestling, in AEW, in TNA. Like it would be really fun to have her back in the ring.
You're in a really cool position where your husband is also a wrestler.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever train together?
Yes, sometimes.
Do you enjoy it?
Sometimes. No, I think my husband is a workhorse and like has endless energy. So I'm like, let's go through a couple things and then like take a break. And he's just like, go, 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 which is his complete style of wrestling. If you see him wrestle, he is giving you 120% of himself every single night. When I'm training, I just want to have fun and I want to like try some stuff and take a break and like enjoy the training process where he is like, we are training. And sometimes he also, like, he's quite aggressive when he's in the ring. And, like, there's been times where he's, like, hit me just a little too hard, so then I hit him a little too hard. And it's like, ooh, okay, this is couples therapy right now.
How does the travel schedule work with him being on TNA and you being AEW?
Yeah, we've, I think, finally gotten a groove of it now. Just, you know, like, I've been in AEW for over 9 months now. I feel like we're just now finding a groove of, like, okay, if you're gone... And what's good about the TNA schedule is it's not every week like AEW is. So he's only gone for TNA every other week. But he keeps a busy indie schedule. So right now it's more like figuring out like, well, if I'm on Saturday Collision, like I'm going to leave Friday night and I'm going to get back Sunday. So are you on the same schedule or do we need to put the dogs up? Or like next week, for example, like when I get home, he leaves. So instead of him leaving the night before, it was like, leave the day up, like leave Friday, I'll get home Friday, and then we don't have to put our dogs up. That's our main concern is like not necessarily being apart because we can figure out when we spend the time together, but like we got 3 dogs and those are our babies. So like who's taking care of the dogs and where are they going to be has been the tricky part.
Where's the nearest training facility for you guys?
We have Foundations, which is Ace Steele's new training school. That's like 25 minutes from us. And we really like to go there. It's like it's a building with a ring in it and he has no AC and like you're there to work.
When you want to train new moves, how do you go about doing that?
I just like will take a screenshot and then bring it to Steve and then we just have to like work through the mechanics of it. Like literally go like, okay, this person goes A, B, C, D. Okay, I'm going to go A, B, C. Like break it down step by step by step, like motion by motion by motion. And then that way, like once we're comfortable with that, now it's like, okay, full stop, go.
And then once you're really comfortable with it, you put it into a real match.
Yeah. Yeah. Or sometimes I never do because I get nervous.
Do you get excited to perform it in front of the crowd?
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's some things that like, so a lot of like my moveset or things that I've pulled out at TNA or previous places like I've yet to pull out here because I'm still establishing myself. And I think for me, the biggest things that I need to establish are my finisher, which is the Fujiwara armbar, or the double, which I call the Venus de Milo. So for me, it's more like, how do we just focus the match around that instead of like trying new tricks. But I feel like I'm finally getting into a place where like that's established and now I can have a little bit of fun.
How does a wrestler figure out their finisher?
For me, it just like was happenstance. I wrestled like an all-women show in Staten Island and I was late because I was coming from work and the promoter had told the girl I was working to text me like, you know, this is when you're going to be on the card, blah, 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 you're working together. And for whatever reason had asked like, can you work the arm in the match? And my trainer was with me and I was like, work the arm, like, okay, I'm winning, like, what should I do? And he was like, you could do a Fujiwara armbar. And I was like, I don't know what that is. So he pulled up some videos and showed me and we planned the match around getting the Fujiwara and it was just like that stuck. I don't know why it stuck, but it was like, that's cool, that's comfortable, I'm going to keep that.
Wow.
And now, yeah, I've done it for 10 years.
Once you set that as your finisher, you never really switch it out, right?
I got a secondary finisher when I was in TNA.
How do you get that?
I just was like, so with a submission, right? And there's like, TNA has a couple like scary, like, undead realm characters is what Rosemary and a couple others like to call it. And so their character maybe wouldn't necessarily tap out, right? And so I was going to wrestle, it was Rosemary at the time, and they were like, you know, what else could you do as a finish other than the Fujiwara? And I had been like toying with the idea of like, do I introduce a Gotch style pile driver into my moveset? And so when they were like, you need a secondary finish, what could you do? I was like, oh, I'm going to do this Gotch style pile driver. Do you think that would work? And they were like, yeah, that works. So it was kind of as simple as that of like, oh, Gotch style pile driver is different than what anyone else is doing. I could just use that as a falsie. They could kick out of it. No problem. And then it was like, I guess that's going to be my finish from now on.
What's your dream stipulation match in AEW?
A submission match.
Against who?
Mercedes Moné. I just think we've both like established careers on our submissions. Me with the Fujiwara, primarily in WWE with her with the bank statement. I just think that the wrestler she is, and she is very much a technician in her own right, and so am I. We could make magic, particularly with a submission match.
When you're cutting a promo, how do you prepare for that?
I think in my head I need to know like, what is the out? Like, what is the business of the promo?
Like why you're doing it?
Yes. Like, what are we selling with this? You know, what is the key points to this? So, you know, if it's a submission match with Mercedes Moné, okay, we're promoting that it's going to happen at this time, at this day, and it's a submission match. And then there I can go and like pull inspiration maybe from other things I've done. Or, recently what comes to mind is I wrestled Thunder Rosa in a no disqualification match a few months ago on Collision. And I wanted to like use some inspiration from The Sopranos and trying this like new version of the Virtuosa where she's a little bit more like mob wife. And so obviously being from Jersey and I could draw on The Sopranos, like what are some really great lines that Tony had said about respect or something like that. And one of the lines I used was, respect isn't given, it's earned. But I was like, if you want respect, you have to give respect. And I was like, I can use that. And like, so it's more like draw inspiration from like, what's the business of this? And then what would my character say?
Was Sopranos your favorite show?
Surprisingly, no. I didn't watch The Sopranos full stop on my own until the pandemic.
What did you think of the ending?
I think he's dead. But I liked it because it left it open-ended. Like, my number one show is Sons of Anarchy. And at the end, not to spoil it for anybody, at the end, Jax dies. And so that's that. There's no going back. The main character is dead. I think with The Sopranos, it makes it interesting because, like, we're not going to get a new season of it, but you're still talking about it. It's just so open-ended that people are curious and people can argue and talk about it. And I liked that aspect of it.
It's alive forever.
Yeah.
Did you watch Jersey Shore when it first came out?
Yes, I did.
What did you think of that?
I loved it.
I did too.
But I was like in middle school and high school. Like, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't doing what they were doing. I wasn't clubbing on the Jersey Shore, but like I just thought it was so fun and just like bad reality TV.
And we got represented.
Great. Exactly.
In the best way.
Jersey, although a lot of them
Italians.
aren't Jersey, but like the tri-state Italians got represented in a fun way. My like family though was like, this is so stereotypical, like hated it, but I loved it.
I loved it too.
I still love it.
Have you had a favorite opponent of AEW?
I really loved working with Mariah May. And I think like there was so much more we could have done and like so much more we could still play with if we were ever going to wrestle again. Because she's who I interrupted on my debut in Jersey. And I think she's a great wrestler. Like I think that she's told an incredible story with Tony up until this point, but like I was a large part of that story. And also she cost me the AEW Women's World Championship. So like I'm coming for you. And then, Thunder Rosa obviously has to be up there because she's the one I've wrestled the most, like, and done the most versatile matches with. We've had regular singles matches. We had the no DQ match. Most recently, our, last match was a Texas bull rope match, which was the first ever for women in AEW. And I want to say women in any like major televised wrestling company. So that was really fun to be trusted with that. And then also I think really deliver.
When you win a world championship, What does that feel like for you, for the company to have their belief in you?
It was such an incredible feeling because, so when I first won the Knockouts World Championship, it was like, again, I was just in this weird space after NXT of like, do I want to wrestle? Do I still love wrestling? Like, I don't even know that I like really love myself at this point. Like, what am I doing with my life? And going there was like taking a chance on like, okay, am I going to be reinvigorated in this, or is this going to tell me that like I got to do something different with my life? And so for them to like let me come in and just be like, and here's the ball and run with it. And the ball it was the Knockouts World Championship. It was like, holy crap, like no one has ever believed in me this much before. And like, if you believe in me this much, then like, how could I not believe in myself? That was the moment that I was like, oh, no, I still love this. This is still what I was meant to do. So it was incredible. And then for them to like continue to give me that 2 more times. And the second time I held it for like almost an entire year. And I brought it to Mexico. I brought it to like AAA and defended it at Triple Mania. And, you know, it was just like they really let me take that and be the flag bearer of the company. And yeah, it was like, you trust me so much more than I trust myself. It was incredible.
Is there only one belt, or do you get to keep it?
There's only one, so I had to give it back. But I had a replica made for myself.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Me and my friends play pool, and I bought a belt online, and I wear that everywhere.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's way cooler for your belt than my little pool belt, but it was still cool to just wear on your waist.
Yeah, it was like just life-changing for me to be able to say, like, still to this day, like, I am a 3-time Knockouts World Champion. I'm a 5-time World Champion. Like, no one can take that from me. That's going to be mine forever.
How long would you love to be wrestling for?
I've been wrestling for almost 13 years now. And I don't know. I think that, like, at this point, I just turned 30. Like, been married for about 2 years now. Like, I think just now I'm starting to think, like, oh, when's the end? You know, or, like, when do I want my in-ring career to stop? And I don't know if that's, you know, a year. I don't know if that's 5 years. Like, I want a family, so obviously, like, that's going to put a stop for at least a short amount of time on what I could do in the ring, but I have no idea.
Would you ever want to be involved behind the scenes?
Absolutely. I don't think I'll ever be able to give wrestling up completely, and I think that just through all of my experiences and every company I've worked with and just, like, again, the body of work I've created, I think I have a lot more to give to a younger generation coming in, and I would love to be a producer and help put matches together and things like that.
Do you have Tony Khan's number?
Yes.
So you could text him match ideas however you feel it?
Yeah, I can.
If you don't want to bother.
Yeah, no, I don't want to bother him, and I also, like, he is so great about making himself available, like, at TV. I think a lot of things can get lost in translation, and, like, you know, Tony Khan is involved in so much outside of wrestling. Like, yes, he runs AEW, but he also has a soccer team. Like, he also has a football team. Like, he is so split up all of the time that, like, do I expect an answer when he sees Deonna Purrazzo text on his phone? No. I much rather be able to directly in person be like, hey, I'd love to have a conversation when you have some time.
What's an average week look like for you?
For me, I'm mostly on Saturdays now. I'm on Collision, so I'm home, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Are you training those days?
Yes. So
every single day?
Yes. Not necessarily wrestling training, but, you know, I work with Cesar Bononi, who works with so many of us wrestlers now for nutrition plans and workout plans. So at least once a week I'm going to his house, and he has a little gym in his garage, and he, like, puts me to work, kills me with a really great workout, but I'm following his, like, workout routine and his nutrition plan all week. But I leave on Friday nights, and I'll go wherever Collision is, and then I get home Sunday and kind of restart. Wow. Yeah, so it's not crazy busy, but.
Do you have anything else fun coming up?
I'm actually starting a master's program.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get my master's in political science.
My dad has that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so excited about it. Steve and I are in the beginning stages of working with Tunnels to Towers, which is like a first responder and veteran organization, which obviously is really close to our heart because Steve is a veteran. And so we're just trying to, again, work on those, like, what are our outside goals and what do we want post-wrestling for our family and what does that look like?
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's been an honor. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much for having me.
Where can everyone find you?
Everyone can find me at Deonna Purrazzo on X, Twitter, and Instagram.
Gonna be linked down below. Make sure to go check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Lightweights out. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. That was great.